Okay, so welcome to my new video. Today I'm going to be focusing on this question called fizzbang on Leet code. It's a fairly simple question. It's just if statements and then an array list. But if you don't know what array lists are, you can just do printlns, or you can just do an array. Well, actually, you can't. Yeah, you can. You can just do a simple array, or you can do an array list, or you can just print out the numbers for practice and then work on your knowledge of array lists and arrays and things like that later. So, what this problem wants you to do up here, it says write a program that outputs the string representation of numbers 1 to n, right? So, but for multiples of 3, it should print out fizz instead of the number. And for multiples of 5, it should print out buzz. Okay, cool. For numbers which are multiples of 3 and 5, fizz buzz. Okay. So let's say you're passed in n is equal to 15. Let's say they passed in the number 15, right? So 1 is only a multiple of itself, 1. So then we get to 2. 2 isn't a multiple of 3, nor is it a multiple of 5. But then we get to fizz, which is basically 3, right? So 3 is a multiple of 3, but it's not a multiple of 5. So we just print out the word fizz. Then we get to 4. It's not a multiple of either. Then we get to 5. 5 is obviously a multiple of 5. So we print out buzz. And then we get to 6. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So it's a multiple. Like you get the point. So what this is going to help you practice, like I said, your knowledge of array list, and then just conditionals and things like that, and some mathematical operators. So what I'm going to do, I already have my method headers here. So I'm going to be returning an array list. You could just say list. So you could just import the list package up there, but I already imported the array list package. Super specific. You can generalize it more, but for the purposes, it's fine. So the first thing we want to do is we know that we want to loop until from 1, as it says up here, from 1 until n, right? So we know we need a for loop. So let's already make that. Starting at 1 and then going for the length of less than or equal to n, and then just I is going to simply increment. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to have conditionals. So our condition is up here. It says if it's a multiple of 3, a multiple of 5, or if it's a multiple of both. So the way that you would know if something's a multiple of both numbers, 3 and 5, is that you just multiply them together. Because the only times that something can be divided by 3 and by 5 is one of their like if you multiply them together. So let's think like 3 can be divided by 3, and then 3, 6, 9. 5 can't be divided by any of these. None of these can be divided by 5 evenly. Then we get to 12, and then 15. So 15 can be divided by 5 3 times, and 15 can be divided by 3 5 times. So 15 is the lowest number that can be multiplied by 3 and 5. So that's going to be our base number that we're going to use so we can know if we can multiply both of them. Okay, so we'll have an if statement that says if I, this will be the first one because you want to check for this first, because this will let you know whether you need to print both of the numbers. So both fizz and bang, fizz buzz, sorry. So yeah, if I mod 3 times 5, you just write 15, but 3 times 5 is a lot clearer to me, so I'm just going to keep it that way. So if I mod 3 times 5 is 0, meaning that the number can be divided by both of these, right? Then what I want to do is I want to add, well, first, before I even do that, I want to create my array list up here. So this is the header for array list. It's just array list. And then in the little like HTML tags or diamonds or whatever you want to call them, you write the type that your type of object that your array list is holding. I'm just going to call it result. And then we're going to create a new array list object. You don't have to put string here, I believe, with the updated version of Java. So you can just leave that empty and then parentheses. Okay, cool. So if I mod 15 is equal to 0, then what I want to do is I want to add fizzbang to the end of my array list. So there we go, fizz and bang. Okay, cool. And then if it can't be multiplied by both, I want to have an else statement that says, okay, if it can't be divided by 15, then I want you to check if it can be divided by 3. We want to start from the lowest divisor. Okay, start from the lowest divisor and go from there. So our condition here is if I mod 3 is equal to 0, not equal signs. What we want to do is we want to add, I believe it's fizz, to the array list and just fizz, right? And then our else if is, okay, if it can't be divided by 3 and it's like, let's say a bigger number, let's check if it can be divided by 5, right? Evenly. So if it can be divided by 5 evenly, then what we want to do is we're going to add bang to our list. Okay, cool. And then if it can't be divided by 3 or 5 or 3 and 5 evenly, then I believe the instructions say that it just wants us to print or add the number. Yeah, it doesn't really say it. So it just wants us to add the number itself, but we want to represent that as a string. So you could do, I believe there's a method called toString or like integer toString for lists, something like that. But let's say you're in an interview and your interviewer wants you to do things like really manually, or if you just want to practice learning some, like, not really tricks, but just how things work. The way that you can turn an int into a string is simply just by, like, there's the int, which is I. Let's say it's 5, right? Not 5, but 4, right? Just to turn it into a string so that you can add it to your array list so that you don't get like a mismatch exception for your array list, because it's only accepting strings. You can just add add quotations, empty quotations right there. Okay, so I believe we've covered all of our bases. We have if, and then we have if else, and then in here we're checking what's divided by 3, 5. And if it's not, add the number. All right, so then there's our if, and there's our if else, there's our for loop. So once our for loop is ended, what we want to do is we just want to return result. Okay, and then that's pretty much it. And then here, what I want to do so I can see what's going on. Let's say I pass in Fizzbuzz, right? Let's say I pass in 15, as they have an example up there. So then now I'm just going to loop. Oh, all these emails. Wow. Okay. Now I'm going to loop from 0 to I is less than 15, because I want to print out my result. If I could type, that would be great. System.out.println, and then you would do Fizzbuzz. Not sure. I'm actually not sure if this is gonna work, but get I. Let's see if this will actually work. Well, actually, this is Leet code, so it's not gonna allow me to do this. But let me see if I can print. If I can just print the result from this method. Really accepted. Well, judging it. Compiler error. Cool. String. Cannot find result string. What? Cannot find. Cool. Okay, I forgot to add right there. So scroll down and then I run the code. It's not gonna let me print it out, which is whatever. But in the code and it was accepted. So it's judging it. Yeah, so it's finished. It's accepted. So that means that my output matches this output. And yeah, it's pretty much